It's often a silent struggle that affects teens and young adults more than anyone else. Experts estimate nearly 30 million people will have an eating disorder in their lifetime. 95% are between the ages of 12 and 25.
Experts at Stanford Medicine say it's important to talk about because eating disorders have higher mortality rates than any other psychiatric condition.
Reporter Sharon Chen shows us why more children are seeing the signs of disordered eating and shows us how one hospital is responding.
I got a little cheesecake.
There was a time when dessert would have never been on the menu for Jessica Thompson, let alone much else.
I would, restrict my intake throughout the day.
Jessica would literally starve herself.
And then by the end of the day, I was so ravenously hungry.
Then exercise. Too much.
Running was primarily the thing that I gravitated toward.
So you would just run and run.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Even though your body was depleted.
Even though my body was depleted.
At just 14 years old, she struggled with anorexia.
And so even though I was arguably thin by all standards and based on other people's perceptions, I still wasn't comfortable in my body.
A new study from JAMA says more than 1 in 5 teens show signs of eating disorders.
That's growing tremendously, and that's across the nation.
In Kansas City, some of those teens end up here at Children's Mercy's Eating Disorder Center. Dr. Sarah Gould, director.
We accept 10-year-olds and up. New patients, we stop at 17.
And patient count is higher than ever. Gould says in 1 year, the number of patients served has tripled, leading now to an expansion of the clinic. Kids and teens treated for anorexia, bulimia, and binge eating.
We also almost all the time have at least one patient in for a medical stabilization, so their bodies are ill enough that they need to be in the hospital.
And now add to the list avoidant restrictive food intake disorder, or ARFID, a condition when patients struggle to eat enough.
And it is an eating disorder, but unlike the others, there isn't a body image component to it.
Dr. Gould says in most cases, ARFID is genetic, but other eating disorders are not, many influenced by societal pressures. Cases are just as high in boys as they are in girls. Treatment can range from therapy to nutrition guidance, but with a family focus.
Caregivers are powerful in this process. They can help their kids make changes that their kids are not ready to make on their own. And it's not overstating it to say save their lives.
For Jessica, it's been a long journey, even with treatment.
I feel like I have figured it out. And I feel like that took time and practice in learning new coping skills and practice in trusting my body.
Now she's turned those lessons into a career.
Well, tell me a little bit about this and what's happening for you now.
As a registered dietitian specializing in eating disorders.
And that's what you remember about that about a year ago.
She shares her story now in hopes no others will travel down her path.
I know a lot of my teens that end up knowing at some point or another that I have struggled do find a deeper connection with me as a clinician because they know I get it.
We want to go more in-depth on the relationship between social media and body image.
A 2023 study found young people who reduced their screen time on social sites by 50% saw a significant improvement on how they view their appearance.
It's not just that kids are more anxious and depressed with worse body image and then they go on social media more. We know it is the reverse, that more time on social media increases those concerns.
Experts at Stanford University say another reason we're seeing more cases is because doctors now have a broader scope of how eating disorders are categorized.